Before enlightenment, you chop wood, you carry water, and after enlightenment, you chop wood and carry water. That is a saying that feels very powerful and meaningful to me today, because no matter how much we master things and how enlightened and evolved that we become, we're always going to have these tasks that we do and take care of, no matter how much we celebrate. And this is especially important to me because today is my birthday, and I was up by before 6 in the morning. I did my morning pages. I went to the gym and did my workout. I reread some chapters in The Artist's Way before my gym session. I had some eggs, so I didn't go in without food. And I was just present this morning, and it was amazing. I was able to deadlift 165. I recently got back into the gym, and I have a trainer who pushes me to press my edges and go a little harder than I would on my own. And it's been great to see that I am strong. I have been strong. I just haven't been in the gym to continue developing it or being very intentional about it. And I'm getting stronger each time I go. I'm Latia, and it's my birthday. And I'm building a practice of cultivating confidence that is around sexual empowerment, owning oneself, and just having fun in life, because there's no need for us to take everything so seriously, even though it may seem like it from time to time. And something that I like to do when it's my birthday is to kind of take a step back, look at where I've been over the past few years, and look at where I would like to go over the next few years. So this might be a bit boring, but at the same time, like, that's just my practice and what I like to do. So, I live in New York City. I currently live in Manhattan, and this has been one of my dreams for years, since I was a kid. And over the last few years, I actually lived in New York in 2015, and I left New York in 2016. I had what was then called they had a diagnosis for it, but I had a psychotic episode, and it was one of the worst experiences of my life, just because it was embarrassing, shameful. I had a great apartment in downtown Brooklyn. It was beautiful. It was 17th floor, nice view. And I was also doing Landmark and not focusing on taking care of myself and my life and my responsibilities. And so the time and effort that would have been spent on getting a job and being able to pay my really expensive bills was spent not doing that. And so I left a great apartment. I'd been fired from a job not too long before it. That was the highest paying I had at the time, but still wasn't like necessarily the best, because like just pay and equality, like there's lots of issues and fun stuff around that. But what was more important to me at the time was just like feeling like I lost all the things that I'd worked towards and wanted, and feeling like I had to start from rock bottom. So I was living with my mom in Southern Illinois, and I just remember seeing a counselor at the time and doing my best to kind of like gather my bearings. And it was really difficult because it was as though everything that I thought about myself couldn't be true. And who am I to have these big dreams and goals and intentions? And who am I to work towards personal development, let alone mastery of my reality, when it feels like I couldn't keep my grip on reality and stay into it? And so I was able to live with my mom, start working at Macy's, and then so it was in September it happened. I moved back. By October I was starting to work at Macy's. By like within a few weeks I was actually doing really well, because like with customer service it can be difficult, and there's a level of separation where you're not mad at me, I'm not your problem, it's the company that's your problem. And so it's really easy for me to kind of disconnect my identity from my job. So they were wanting to offer me a position, and I was hired at Accenture around that time. And that's the time when my sister got married, and I was living with my mom. So within a few months, I remember I was talking to a friend who was like willing to be my voice of Latia, you can do better than this at the time, which was like a good and bad idea, because it was nice to have someone who has faith in me and respects me be like, oh, get it together, girl, like be congruent, you know, stop wallowing, like figure it out, have faith, get it done. It's not that difficult. And it was also challenging because I like this person. It was like, I don't like you that much. Please stop. I didn't want this much truth and honesty, but like I do, but at the same time, like I get defensive, and then I'd be like, oh, you're right. And then he'd be like, why do you keep doing that? Just be like, I'm right from the start. I'm like, no, this is not going to happen. It's not how I roll. But it was a hard time. And I was working at Accenture, and things were going better. I ended up doing the mastery program. I had a second episode and sent to the hospital, and then that became the worst experience, because the first time I was in the hospital, I ended up sedated, wetting myself, lying on a hospital bed. And like I felt like anytime I would share this, I was talking about Kanye West ended up having a similar situation a few weeks after that one. I was like, he copied me. Like I started that, but not necessarily in a good way. I don't know, I'm just weird about things like that. But then I have a second episode. That was the worst one. And it was interesting because I was able to kind of like return to normal life very quickly afterwards. But it was different because with the first one, it was Landmark that sent me there. With the second one, it was my family who saw me and was like, hey, we're going to take you. And then like I low-key involuntarily signed my rights away, but I was still under the influence of whatever caused my episode, which is probably stress, not eating, and just general anxiety, and being in a program with a lot of energy and not being able to process and integrate fully. So it's like I could tell there were walls, and I was in Utah, and it was just a lot of things that went into it, which I may dive deeper into later because it is part of my journey, and it's part of what inspires me to want to share with people. Because when you're in those dark places, and it just, especially like the second time I was in the hospital, I ended up fainting, hitting my chin, cracking 2 teeth up top to the point where they had to be removed, and like now I have screws. One of my teeth back here chipped in half, and I had to get a filling to fill it in, even though I can still feel extra sensitivity in some of my teeth as a result. And then I got stitches on my chin. So the first time I was getting stitches, I didn't trust the doctors and hospitals. Like the first time I went, people in New York were really nice and generous, and it was fun. And the second time was awful. And so like that happened within the last year. And so then to go from that to like choosing to quit a job because I've mostly been fired or asked to look for another job, to moving to New York again for a new job. And I'm not a fan of the job, but I'm grateful for the experience that I'm getting and like learning how to just be myself and do things. So if I don't like something, it's okay that I don't like it. I'm still doing my job. I'm not there to make friends, and I'm growing as a person and in my dedication, my commitment to my word, and how I show up. And I've been to my pole camp in Budapest and London and all of these fun adventures. And I guess sometimes I don't always sit and acknowledge that, wow, like it's been a journey. It's been a struggle. Like even choosing to live on my own and then move back and with my mom. And then now I lived with the roommate for a bit, and now I live on my own again. And it's always interesting with all of the shifts that happen, how comfortable or not comfortable I am. And I don't always think of that. And also, as I was saying before that, is when we're in those dark places in life, it can feel like it's going to go on forever. Like you're crazy. You don't know what you're doing. I'm wrong. I'm broken. I messed up. How could this happen? How could I let this happen? What did I do? What's wrong with me? And sometimes it's just a matter of acknowledging that, okay, this is tough. I don't know what to do. And I'm just going to pray for strength and keep going and just have faith that something can get better. Because where I'm at now, I've been wanting to get here for a long time. And I'm still not even where I would like to be. And what I realize is that I don't even necessarily want it to be in the way that it's happening. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make a lot of money on my own. And it's nice to have a job and feel like there's stability, but it's a startup. So there is no stability. There's literally chaos all the time. It is context switching. It is multiple demands. It is dealing with lots of people. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of pressure. And without those challenges, it's hard to become stronger and more powerful and more enlightened and more grounded and more stable no matter what happens. So when people annoy me, it's just kind of like, I'm not going to talk to you, and I acknowledge that. Like, I could be petty, and that's okay, because I just don't have the energy right now. I need to nourish myself and fill my cup. And I'm still showing up for work and trying to get something done that I said that I would get done before I left. So I guess this is more like a reflection of like, or just sharing, this is where I've been. I've had dark places. I've had psychotic episodes, 2 which by definition would make me technically bipolar type 1, because they're the hospitalizations where they require hospitalizations for about a week. And then there's also been fainting spells that happened before it. Had a seizure during a tilt table test to figure out what was wrong. So my heart was passing and I failed. That was fun. I had an MRI because I had a seizure during that and I wasn't allowed to drive. And then they said I'm not epileptic, but we don't really know what happened. And it's not necessarily that I'm ashamed of my journey. It's just that I'm still figuring out the context within which I'm operating. And so it's challenging to have a diagnosis that I don't trust, because I have never fully believed in mental illness. Like, I remember reading about it, and manic depressive sounded like it was possible, but also the fact that it was possible, it's like, is it, like, am I really defined by a diagnosis or not? And my grandpa had it, and so it's like, that is possible. But like bipolar, I'm like, that just sounds stupid. Like, oh my gosh, people feel good and then they feel bad. Sounds really human to me. But I feel like we have a very extreme medical system and way that we handle and treat people when they have challenges that they're dealing with. And so I don't feel like talking about people taking drugs or needing help in any way is funny or right to do. And I know that someone commented on my last video and called me a B word, and I compared them to a homeless white man, because like literally a homeless white man called me that on the subway the other day, and in the past a homeless white man has called me the N-word. So I'm just like, literally the last person to call me that was like a homeless white person. So that is my comparison for you. And they're like, stop taking those drugs, and I'm not racist. And I'm like, you called yourself a racist, so clearly you might be. And I'm not taking drugs. I'm living my life like it's golden and having fun. And if you feel the need to attack someone who's willing to show their face and own what they're doing, okay, cool. I'm like, I'm not going to engage it further. I don't have time for this nonsense. And I'm willing to show up and do the work and get better and to improve. I'm willing to be vulnerable and put myself out there, even at the risk of my mental wellness, which is low-key or high-key unstable. And I don't say that in a way to like gain pity or anything like that, but like, I think we're in a day and age where we're all on the brink of a mental breakdown, and we just need help to be okay with who we are and what we're bringing to the table, especially when we are being courageous and bold and we're out there doing the work, trying to be better people, trying to make lives better. And just, even if it's just to get better in every way that we can, there's so many people working so hard and struggling and feeling like they can't talk to people, because when they do share, people attack them. And I'm willing to keep showing up even if people attack me. I feel like I've lived a life where I've gotten a lot of attacks growing up, and I don't think anyone was intending to be hurtful. And so for me, I just took it as love and kept moving. So if my mom was afraid of something, I know she's loving me. If my dad was being especially critical, I'm going to assume it came from a loving place and him having learned the wrong way. So just because people hurt you or attack you or try to make you feel bad, it's like, I'm human. Yeah, hurt my feelings. Like, wow, how dare you? And then another part of me was like, ooh, yes, finally got some haters. I'm needing some resistance. I like it. But that's me. And so I honor my sadness and my frustration and hurt, and I share about it and I process it and I keep moving, because I'm not going to let someone stop me from sharing my message with the world, because a lot of people aren't going to like what I say. I have coworkers who literally are just like, wow, too spicy. Let's not talk about what you want to talk about. And I'm like, okay, I'll find someone else I can talk to. Take my spice elsewhere. And it being my birthday, I'm the type of person where I will tell you, it's my birthday. Yes, let's celebrate together. Yeah, celebrate me, please. Because it's another year of my life. It's another year to reflect on, like, I made it another year. I am grateful. I am blessed. I am so proud of myself for all that I've been through. And I know, like, humble brag keeps coming up for me because, like, someone commented about it when asking about my YouTube. And I'm like, I can't help that, like, I am proud of myself for everything that I've accomplished, everything that I've been through, what you know, what you don't know. And even, like, the fact that, like, I know I'm hard on myself because I know I can do better. And I'm learning to be more compassionate and loving towards myself because it doesn't help me do better to be mean to myself. So if I seem like the type of person who's like, I'm so great and amazing and wonderful and awesome and my life is amazing and I have amazing people around me and I'm blessed and God loves me and I love God and the Creator is working through me in my life, yes, I'm willing to do that. And it's possible for you too. I don't know what your goals and dreams are, but they're possible. If I can go from, and I mean, like, I've had like a wide life journey, but still having psychotic breakdown, losing an apartment, having to basically start fresh from the ground up, a couple years out of college, questioning my identity, my technical knowledge, my everything, to starting over and being rejected. Even within my last, like, within Accenture, it was like getting fired repeatedly. And sometimes I could understand it wasn't actually, but like the amount of projects I started within a 2-year period, people were just like, why have you been on like 6 to 8 projects? What? And it's like, people don't like me, I don't like people either. It's just not a fit. And even this company doesn't feel like a fit, but in like a message that someone gave me, it was, you are an entrepreneur, you're not meant to work for other people. We've been trying to nudge you and letting you know, like, stop. And like, I'm stubborn, so I'm like, right, entrepreneur, that is why I have a business, so I can start working for myself, because I don't want to work for other people. I want to work for my customers and my clients and the people that I am of service to, but I don't want to put money in other people's paychecks or depend on them. And even now, like, I like to think of myself as self-employed because I am in the employ of myself, and it's my choice to continue this relationship with an employer. I am not owned by them and they are not owned by me. It is a mutually beneficial relationship. And as this relationship becomes not mutually beneficial, I will do what I need to sever ties in a healthy way that works for everyone. So, like, no burning bridges, but like, let's smoothly separate and build my own thing and like build something that works for me, where I truly am in the employ of myself. But I'm doing the artist way, and what comes up is I want the source to be my sole provider, my dependency, my anchor in my life, that divine within me, that divine within everyone, that divine that shows up and created us. I want to honor that as my source, because it's not my company that's paying me. It's not my company that got me all these things. It is the fact that there was something bigger at play. And I still don't even know all that is out in the workings, but I have faith and I know it's going to be wonderful, great, amazing. And I'm so looking forward to my journey, meeting people, connecting, and really just inspiring people to live great lives. And no matter what happens, please don't give up on yourself in your life, because it could change in an instant. And I would hate for you to miss out on your blessings and like the turnaround, because like it's tough and turnarounds are difficult, because like it may seem like there is nothing for you to hold hope to, but the fact that you are breathing and on this earth in this day and age is a blessing. And so I pray for whoever's watching this, whoever's out there, that there may be peace in your life and love and joy. And happy birthday to me. Happy alive day to you, or birthday to you if it's your birthday as well. November 1st, Scorpio season, yay. And see you next time.